It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon here, and you get people waiting within our streets. Currently, they collect this small tax. I mean, if you're not a petty business owner, you go see you get people where they go cut paper to you and say, here you go, just give me money and go. But you can see those people, right?
Definitely, almost every day they see the keeper, they call them keeper. They meet them when they sell water, they reach them in the street to get tickets and they give. Or I can enjoy the rumble and stuff wicked amongst them.
So just what they show you no more, then are just part of about the small one day. You get the big larger they self responsible for collect tax. But however, then self get one or two complaints. I guess some people then can be sly and pass behind the table or under the table or behind the domot for do one or two things. Well, that's the one for take welcome you to today's show here on Slick Television channel 37. You can also join us on Facebook at Slick TV, website at slicktv.com, and follow us on all the social media handles. I am Rabia Tumansai.
And I am Mohammed Baki Camera. One for the quote of the day, which says, closing tax loopholes and expanding the informal sector's contribution to the tax net could significantly boost national revenue. Rabbi, if you look at this keenly, now a way governments or authorities they may try to initiate for the Boku revenue, they come now the stream, the revenue stream, of course. Yes. Because if you come to think of it, better one, the loopholes them, if the government look at a way, you understand, a gap for letting handle the individuals them, corporations them, you understand, for let them safe be part of this, for support the nation, you understand. If they agree for give it, they supposed to agree, as agreed between them and the authorities them. I believe as a country, not to Bokutin and they will not go strain for her.
Let's just take one practical example here.
Yeah.
If pipe burst, for example,
good.
If the hole kind of big, and more water they come out na do.
Definitely.
But if it's small, small water they come
yes.
out. That is why in today's show we ask the question: who are they gain and who are they lose in terms of tax and revenue collection at the country? Stay tuned for more.
The road to greatness starts with mic, beats, and the fire that burns in your heart.
Una kusha una kabo, auna dedu. Killing them in Jesus' name, una ala alelu. Till I grow up and all stick, the tend them abutu. I dey direct them pa rap game from here to Fadubu. Yeah,
you gon' die tonight for this respect. When me iron stores, boot like road, I walk up on your neck. Drag your ass back up from Fadubu, tego ajekule. Load the clock up, came it out your head and let it back. Yo.
From May 2025 to January 2026, the rap game go hot as we dey come together with the theme Salon Against Hate. This now we chance for raise awareness and go against the bad talk and message them we don't divide the country. Register now for the Rap Rampage 3.0 for free. Call +232 7674 9299. Kamle we all join on for make Salon unite. It's now you turn for win the biggest stake na Salon rap history. Third place they take home 10,000 leons. Second place go get 20,000 leons. And first place they take home a whooping 100,000 new leons. You feel say you get some? Can't drop fire bars. Win big and claim you throne. Rap Rampage 3.0. Now Orange and Orange Money, they bring this show to you.
Hey, I don't want to play connecting to the man.
Man them. This na boys. Usai man and they put all thing at table. From Pantap, Tegodo. Inside boys, we know they hide behind with shadow. At all. We real and this time now all but we.
Every woman first, let me start that, always they look for a successful man. So likewise, majority of the men also they look for successful woman.
We can't talk about we hustle and we dey fair money.
When you like somebody, you first of all get for take care of whatever you like. Make them a priority.
We relationship and waiting people they expect from we man them.
You know, women are more emotional than men. If you start them, where you enjoy them, you go they come.
This not a side where we just they can talk. This na brotherhood. Na side for let you see and feel what it really mean for me boy pikin.
Sex is intimacy.
This na boys. So come na the bar, grab a chair, buy a drink, let we talk, chill and vibe. Cause this na boys who side with they shake the table.
Welcome back. From the National Revenue Authority, the target will then set for 2025. Now for make 18.9 billion new loans. All loans, you go say 18.9 trillion. That's a whole lot of money there. Where governments go use for do one or two things they offer run the country in sense. However, you get certain sets of people who have been exempted for pay tax in sense they know they pay. Government don't find way for at least pull and come out for them, like then non-governmental organization them. Even agriculture, there's an aspect of it to say if they count some machine them into the country, then go say, well, would they reduce them for you, or you don't go pay pata because we want for push the government agenda. I mean, NRA, on another hand, gets different ways them way then they generate money. And make and clear say this na body will then be set up inside 2002 as way for generate money for the government, and also not tap just for generator for fund money for government, but also regulate the entire process as to how governments they make money. But quickly look get a graph, I mean, of how they don't meet the target over the years. You see from 2023, they say the target now 9.455 billion. Now they intend for make, and you see say they actually meet a particular threshold. We say well, when they go later in our parliament and tell them say okay, we wanna add the money small, so then be intend for make up to 10.559 billion loans for government. When you come to 2024, the money go up small, and they intend for make 14.9. Then target actually na 14.972 billion loans would intend for make. But much information not there around us to if they actually meet the threshold. But then go tell you say they meet 99% of everything in terms of waiting a bid target. For 2025, the year just starts, and then threshold for targets now 18.9 billion loans. With all of this where they sprang up, I mean on the 26th of March, you see Budget Advocacy Network, one body we on there for the push, anything we get for the finance, I mean the cost check, the fact check, everything, pull a report inside entitled Tax Exemption in Sierra Leone Industry Sector. Whether they win and whether they lost. Inside the reports, then states one or two things them usai. The first thing where they talk about now sectorial growth and transition. Usai then say industrial sector GDP grow from 8.9 billion in 2018 to 35.6 billion in 2023. Where they say well basically now the mining sector and push that kind of a money day. The same way also talk say, I mean, shifts on day in from agriculture to industry and services. Agriculture, they share GDP of 34.99% in 2018 to 29.07% in 2023. That's a drop here there. One go say maybe because this report, I mean the findings we make up of this report started from 2018. So one go say, oh, that's in the agriculture don't be a flagship program for the president. Maybe that is why look at all of these loopholes. We don't most don't get hint of the iceberg, tip of the iceberg, and say okay, well now look just look at one or two things them where we for look at in the agriculture sector for ensure say themselves contributes immensely to we country in GDP. And the next, they also make revenue for gone. revenue where we lost, let the ordinary person understand. They say revenue forgone from tax exemption in the industry sector alone rose from 39% of domestic revenue in 2018 to 60% in 2023. It's still said they are saying na risk, however, but you see it's about 20+% that are, when they say domestic revenue, now within inside the country where they pass to reserve. You say while the contribution to domestic revenue is 12.81%, the revenue forgone is 60% in 2023. So from waiting we will generate inside salon, all waiting we will make at the end of the day, now just 12.81%. Away from Dande, we also see say them put revenue contribution and exemption. Usai then say the mining accounted for 82% of industrial sector revenue between 2021 and 2023 through disruptions from policy changes and COVID-19 affected performance. Manufacturing and construction shows growth potential but contributes minimally to domestic revenue due to generous tax exemption. Tax exemption from the industry sector increased from 177 million in 2018 to 3.5 billion in 2023, with mining receiving the largest share. I mean, quickly in that regard, I mean, we get the Minister of Mines, we say of all the money they make for the mining, which about 1.2 billion, they receive 60 million. So, I mean, the big tie there now is if UNA gets the largest exemption from all of this, but you are the same set of people where they cry, say, UNA they make. So, this again brings me to the question if all of what they do, they fine-tune those minerals they will get, produce, manufacture, and sell in our country, maybe for the make more. But however, now people the way they get the money, I mean investors, and then go kind and do one. At the end of the day, then go claim say we are business people. So they get for cut all what they don't spend at the end of the day. And obviously give what they for give in terms of tax and take the change or the profit and go. When budgets then put all of those in reports together, they also name challenges. I mean, waiting and face or waiting now some of the things they would see say this 9 tons stumbling block per the findings where we do. One is in a lack of transparency, another na policy inefficiency and sectorial imbalance, and another na weak monitoring. But quickly, the same way they be issue out that report there on the 26th, they will join Abubakar Tarawali and Abubakar Kamara. They will then put to some of other key findings that we then get, and we'll come back in the studio.
And so we realized that in 2018, the GDP was rebased, and so it provided a bigger denominator to measure what you call the production or productivity of our economy. And so, before this time, we've had the mining and agriculture as the bigger guys in the room contributing to economic growth. But then after the rebasing of the GDP in 2018, we saw that the industry sector has now taken over mining and agriculture, which means it is a very lucrative area. And then it also, now, when we talk about the industry sector, we are talking about manufacturing, mining, construction, energy, subsectors. And these areas, if not carefully, checked, we see that we are having the potential of losing a lot of that. And so that leaves us now with a policy dilemma, whether to continue to give away taxes or to see to it that we focus on revenue generation, which is by far the main focus for now. Because when you see the revenue is not performing and you want to overtax the citizens, it becomes a cause for concern.
We've seen the exemptions really growing, I can say exponentially, from 177 million, which is today billion, to 3.5 million, which used to be 3.5 trillion. So it's really growing. And one of the one that we see the largest share is the mining sector. And we see the revenue forgone in terms of the exemption. It rose from 39% to 60% of the domestic revenue. And just imagine if we can halve that figure by half, how much money will come to the revenue of back to the government. I also see, why the contribution to domestic revenue is around 12.81%. We see the revenue forgone is around 60%. So you do the mathematics and tell me whether we are losing or we are benefiting if we include other factors like job or other issues. And again, of course, we also see revenue collection from the sector is not growing really as the economy is growing. As a matter of fact, if the economy is growing, we should see some amount of resources again coming to the revenue basket of government. Because if the economy is growing, it means a lot of economic activities are going, which means a lot of tax activities should be going on in that sector, which should contribute towards the revenue. Again, of course, apart from mining, when we look at the sub-sectors in the industry sector, their contribution is very low. Even though their share of the GDP is going up, it's much bigger, but their contribution to revenue is low. So which means either they are not complying, or of course because of the notable tax exemption in those sub-sectors. So it means we really need to interrogate the sector, interrogate them more to know why the revenue is growing and why we still have low revenue contribution.
Welcome back. And for that, inside the studio, I get Abubakar Tawali, one of the gentlemen we see in that video we'll just play for now, from Budget Advocacy Network. Good afternoon, welcome to the Today Show.
Plenty, thank you.
And on the line, we get Victor Moinina, an analyst and a researcher. It is far away from we, but he always they connect with us. Good afternoon, Victor, and welcome to the Today Show. David, sorry. Hello? Hello? All right, okay, we'll just continue the show. Maybe it go step in. So you're with us now, Abubakar. Now, when I don't do the findings and the likes, these are just pen and paper, but I mean, as a Sierra Leonean and from your observation, so far, waiting don't tend to be the issue in terms of revenue. We put in place policy, enforcement, structure, and the likes?
That's a very big question. And again, plenty thanks to Slick TV for bringing back the picture of the day when we launched the report and the slides. Because the slides already clearly show what we the loss as a country and what needs to be done. And we clearly get a line of recommendations are still waiting for those. So the issue with revenue is the fact that we get a situation where we get resources with the QA and with people and the staff of much needed services, and then all the time with the old cap, they go big to other countries so that we can solve your own problems. You know, I know for refer to some popular sayings where they say, like the proverbial fool who is thirsty in the midst of abundant water. If you travel, go to a country like Ghana, Nigeria, then they rush for all your bag because what's in the label, salon, they get minerals, they get diamond. You understand? So then they see Sierra Leonean in the picture that we are not. So why we forget all these minerals and the investors we're supposed to add to like by way of increasing employment rates, by way of doing knowledge transfer, by way of bringing much more than development with the Kangwe, just because one for encourage and for let's see Salone as a destination for car invest. So it's like what we need for take for developers we give back to them in the form of investment, which is not bad because from the research, you see what we able for raise from the industry sector. But then what we lost, it's like 20 times than what we gain. So you ask a question to somebody, we get sense. Now so for do business, if you do business, they continue for loss, then why they continue? I think they need for come back and they do on board and see what they go wrong. Fix them and then continue back the business. So like this report is just an eye-opener to the relevant authorities that, look, we know say after the war, this development concept comes say, we need to make the country as a go-to destination for investment. But interestingly, from the ECOWAS, the day we launched this report, it coincided with just the week where ECOWAS then done their own conference in Freetown back, all the ECOWAS country then. Then say once you do and see say revenue they perform. So they can do couple sense, workshop in Freetown say, what do we need for do as ECOWAS leaders? So one research where somebody shared during that session was that 90% of the investors they work in come na Salone, not because of the exemption. Then if still come, even if you not give them exemption, because they get what they want from a country. So this now they draw the question to how transparent is this process of exemption? Because there is a reason why then they give the exemption there. One, then they do so for stimulate development. Development in the sense, we get a lot of things we need. We get a high rate. If you go online now, you look at the unemployment rate in Salone, it's so high. And tell you say the employability percentage of people that we employ, it's about 10% of the population. So they look at a country of about slightly above 7 million people. So they say the people the way they're not employed, them but pass you on the way they on job. So if you see say the economy they perform now because we not get too many people them at the production side. Because imagine like where you work so, you pay tax, right? Personal income tax, you pay AYE, you go to the CRF, the Consolidated Revenue Fund. If this institution they go buy something, then they take withholding tax. And they take GST, all the other tax, and they go to the CRF. But imagine if you know the work, the government they lost from every citizen, because in personal income tax, no they come. So now we'll talk about the target where NRA can set and the giveaways, because also NRA they are the tail end of implementing the law, rather than they form the law. In terms of revenue, the policy directive they come from the Minister of Finance, then sit down and Minister of Finance, then do a draft, NRA, Minister of Finance, Statistics Sierra Leone, then they do what they call a macroeconomic outlook. How the country in economy get for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And based on that, then get a forecast, a macro fiscal forecast, where they tell you, say, by 2025, based on the current production level, the country will be able to generate this from taxes and non-tax revenue. So now based on that, then they set the target. How realistic is the target is another kettle of fish.
Okay, not only the quick, how realistic is the target. On the line, we get Victor Moinena. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Today Show. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you now. Hello, Victor? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, did you get me now?
Yes, I will get you clearly.
All right, Victor, I want to throw the same question to you. I mean, also you think, say, the problem there in terms of the entire process for generating revenue in Salone? in terms of policy, structure, and enforcement?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. First of all, I want to let all man know say, I not ever witness a country where 100% dependent on tax. Like if we say that tax number now they use for developed country, I believe say we're not going to forget all the prerequisites because number one, we got a question as to how many people and they actually pay tax. Some people and they pay tax passively. That is, we get people that they pay tax through GST. We get people that they pay tax through products that they buy. And if not that's we they use as the tax income, then I don't believe say we're going for amass a lot of money from taxes. Now, government gets what we they generate from donor funds. We get projects that are donor funded projects, including projects funded by the World Bank, including projects funded by IMF, including projects funded by other intergovernmental agencies. So the country not able for know almost with the use with regards to the thing they are. So when you talk about taxation on the people is quite high. Quite frankly and honestly, if you go to the markets today, you ask about the prices of commodities, everything they up because the taxes don't go up. And NRA, they generate trillions of loans. Waiting they happen to the money that we get for ask questions to the government.
All right, okay. So you hear waiting Victor say Tawali. And this whole thing based on our report, not just focus on exemption now. Now the Ministry of Mines or the mining sector, more or less, that then they cry big foul. And when our report shows say, in fact, their money when they make in the go safe more.
82%.
Yes.
And the benefits from the exemption.
Yet, then that exemption more we then get. Yet then they you know how Peking can talk now. Yes, now then they pull more, or now then they give away more. So how will come about on findings in relation to that regard?
Well, everybody we know the work we band they do. You go understand say we can always use government data for whole government accountable. So all this data we take for do this analysis, we get them from government data. And the authentic sources for get the data there are Ministry of Finance, because they get a tax and revenue department, and of course you also get the National Revenue Authority, because now then they administer taxation. So now from the data we do this analysis and then we present them back to government and let them see the real picture. So
because the minister yesterday talk say then the mining sector they contribute $1.12 billion and they earn 60 million. You don't think say that's whooping, like that's way too much?
You know, we're not going to go into the argument of what's in the mining they make versus what's in they contribute. Because number one thing I tell you, that no mining institution or the kind of country for develop that country there. And they come for exploit. And they tell you clearly, say if then they lost, then they go. We don't see instances where mining companies where they don't see what they come for, they don't realize that they fall back, then go and transfer liability to another interested party. So if we the mining the Minister of Mines they talk is realistic from the mining sector, why they not be transparent? Because we understand so all the mining companies then they report to the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. This disclosure, is it publicly available? You know, journalists go on their website now, let's see. And even what then they disclose, and they write in a so complex manner that the ordinary citizen, they're able to understand what really the country they realize from the mining. So we know they go into that argument, which then they realize and which then they lose. This one are just the exemptions, when a form of an investment where government gets into the industry sector, which mining is a part of. Now that evidence we come up with. Because we know say, there is a law we then passed inside 2022. We talk about the Community Development Fund. Boku community, they say therefore receive 1% of the annual turnover. Who's mining company where they go tell the community people they're waiting at the annual turnover? Most of them know they do that. So anything they give you, you go assume saying that the 1%. Because it needs to be transparent. Let you know, say this company actually make this much from the minerals where they extract from we place. And out of that, we get the 1%. So even, because I also be part of a social audit together with NMJD, we go now plenty mining communities. I they tell you, see, most of the community development committees, they don't know what constitute the 1%. Because you need to know the annual turnover. Now from there, you calculate the 1%. So that's now one thing. And then, of course, the argument about how much you need to give back to the country for the economy or the revenue boom. We know say then they contribute because most of the workers wouldn't take. Instead, they contribute personal income tax to the CRF. But when they talk about waiting, they're supposed to declare. How are they declaring this and how much is coming back to the country? Looking at the waivers. Waivers, and if you look at the various Finance Act from 2013 to 2023, which is the scope of the study actually. Sorry, 2018 to 2023. If you go back to 2013, the mining companies don't enjoy waivers. From that time, they take to this 2015 and still enjoy waiver. And the reason why I make them the give waiver now for cut down on your investment costs. For example, if you're not a media institution, you come out all the way somewhere, you can't salon, say now you can make your media institution. But if you begin pay tax from that area, you begin for do this investment for secure building, for build your studio, so they recruit staff, you get for begin pay them, that startup cost go high. So the government say now, when they look at way for make doing business easy in a salon, now if they start an investment for 2 to 3 years, you know will pay. So that particular tax the way is supposed for pay. Government they can't get them back. If your business don't sustain, now you employ Sierra Leoneans, now you buy from Sierra Leone market, you contribute to the local economy. Now you go able for campaign now, even double of waiting them be suspend for say enough for pay. So the essence is that for let encourage businesses, they let them able for establish now and then stay. So the C clause is like if a company come na salon, it gets about 15% Sierra Leonean ownership and they give exemption. Certain taxes and the way you know they pay. If you employ like 100 Sierra Leoneans, and then give exemption. Sometimes then if you bring the cost of for can do, sometimes for build this studio, you get for import all the material the way you get for carry it. The government would say let not pay custom duty. So that you go bring and come, you invest. At the end of the day, we get picking the way they do mass communication, they want to be journalists, where they graduate, they forget outside and they get employment. So in turn, we employ that picking day, instead of they contribute to the economy, they get salary. So that was the idea about exemption. Right. But some of them, if you watch, the number of Sierra Leoneans where they employ is still small, and you still continue to get exemption. Why? So if you increase now, let's say, as a result of the formative years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years you don't establish, now as a result, this company, they can't invest in Sierra Leoneans. And they can't employ like, let's say, 20,000 Sierra Leoneans. So it means you invest in them citizens, then they get gainfully employed, and then say they contribute now to the economy. And then most of them companies, then they get fuel where then they carry it. So government already don't subsidize, then they pay the tax where other companies then they pay, where they made the cost of fuel there, still for let them support production. Now they will produce things and back like the country is still there. Why? They also get exemptions for special economic zones. If you come, invest now, you produce it at a cheaper labor, cheaper this, you go produce more Sierra Leoneans and not go lack. You know, say you want to speak self-part and go pull on China. Right. So all of them here, so now make the government create an enabling environment for let investment happen so that we will reduce the unemployment rate, we will also boost to local production, whether they will continue for make with GDP, continue for go up, and then the economy will be sustained.
Okay, let's just hold it quick. You talk something where actually broad where people need to understand. But the tell one be the launch this report here. So we been get NRA been there outside the Commissioner General, General Bangura, and Deputy Finance Minister too, Ibrahim Kaloko be there. Maybe just tell we what did they make up of all of this. Let's have it quickly.
Steadfast in its commitment to suggesting tax policies, Mr. Minister, and improving tax administration in ways that promote sustainable development. We recognize that whilst incentives are necessary, they must be structured in a way that minimizes revenue leakages and maximizes benefits to the broader economy. I commend Ben and thank you very much for this insightful report, and we look forward to a productive discussion on how we can collectively implement these recommendations. Together, we can create a tax policy environment that fosters industrial growth whilst ensuring that our tax system remains fair, efficient, and capable of financing Sierra Leone's development aspiration.
As a Sierra Leonean, I feel very sad. Very sad because tax exemptions should be used for development purposes. Where I see it on a daily basis, it pains me when I approve some of these exemptions. These exemptions are basically aligned with laws, particularly mining laws. And some of this manufacturing certification. And as a ministry, we've developed the Duty and Tax, the Tax and Duty Waiver Act, Exemption Act. And I can tell you, we've been doing a lot of work of research. Definitely what I've seen in the reports, I know there's a long way for us to go, but we have started a journey. I want to assure the civil society, the World Bank, the CSOs, and also Christian Aid that, and I'm happy that I have NRA here because basically, these waivers are done by the ministries, departments, and agencies. Ministry of Finance will approve, and then the NRA will process. It's really disheartening what we've been seeing over time. But I just want to assure Sierra Leoneans that as a ministry, in the Act, we're enforcing the Act now. Commencing this January, we're doing a lot of meetings with various ministries, agencies, and I think it belongs to all of us as Sierra Leonean to see how we can support government to ensure waivers should be used for development, not for evasion. What we've seen over time, there are a lot of evasion, people are conniving to evade tax, and these taxes is what we survive on as a ministry, as a government. So I don't want to delve too much into the report. The report is very revealing, and for me, it's going to serve as a very important tool for us to review a massive review of the Tax and Duty Waiver Act that will come in, which I've told my minister that there is a strong need for us to review. I'm also looking forward to institutions like the World Bank to support us, the IMF, because some of these agreements we need to do a complete overhaul because they're not adding value to us. But as I said, I will limit my comments, but I just want to welcome this report. I want to say a very big thank to BAN for a very insightful report, and I hope by the end of this session, you will see what I have seen in that report. That is something that will change the narrative of Sierra Leone if we do it properly, and I hope that contributions to today will serve as a bedrock for a new development agenda for Ghana. Thank you.
The parties involved, I mean, the aids them by the tax business that in talk. So we'll just go quickly again to Victor. Hello, Victor.
Yes, I get to clearly.
Yes, before we play the video of Finance Minister 2 and also Commissioner General National Revenue Authority, Abubakar will mention something, or he mentioned something. Usai is say in next source here, they say on one hand the law is there about the exemption, but the other hand it's like the thing no look all water, because how it's like one party then they benefit big time than the other. So what's your take in that regard?
Well, I tend to disagree with what Mr. Wakari talk. You know, the tax exemption where people that they talk about, I know they see a realistic picture of how they happen. Let's say, for example, like today, so I do company registration. That they'll give you all your documentation, say you're supposed to operate within a particular period where you're not supposed to pay tax. But let's say, for instance, if this NGO has to decide for bringing products and come into the country, they have to pay tax for them. They have to pay asikuda through the ports. And all of that, they make some investors, then they actually look down on them. And make mention of the Mining Act, that some mining companies then get tax exemption. It might be true, but the realistic picture is this. Some of these people pay taxes underneath the cupboard, and people don't see where these taxes are going into. So the problem we'll get, not to say we know and pay tax, we go pay tax. But who side this tax money they go? Who that will go ask? Who that will go all responsible? And sometimes when the government wants to use mechanisms, then will tell you, say, oh, you're not supposed to question these things. As long as I'm paying tax, I'm supposed to ask questions. And when I ask questions, I deserve to get an answer. So the problem we'll get, these exemptions, it will be on paper. But in reality, then we'll tell you they give you exemption, but when they pay, you pay more than the required tax where you're supposed to pay, and that can be very problematic. Look at what happened in Koidu recently, where they even talk about salaries of workers. Some people and they receive surface rent. Some people and they at the paramount chiefs and they receive the surface rent for them. And it doesn't correlate in what is happening at the reality. So we need for check what really we go do for let we get a balanced situation. Like how you put the question, one party they will the benefits, the other party they will seem for not for the get waiting they're supposed to get, and then they will become very chaotic in the country we live.
Okay, you say you tend for disagree with what Abubakar say, but this same NRA, now then this Asikuda where you mentioned, now then set them up, and also they get the electronic cash registration. For example, if you go to some small shops, them you go see say where you buy the they get this machine, put your number, cut, you see what NRA self cut param. So if you they say we don't know side the money they go, and NRA earlier this year. Then talk about the 25% within loss. So you don't think say even the business owners then get rolled for playing this? Because it's like NRA they answer certain questions they would demand. They say they don't lost this money, and they did put one or two mechanisms in place, yet we still struggle with waiting with the make at the end of the day.
Now, let's just clarify what you are saying. Why say we don't know side the money they go? We don't say the money they go to NRA. But what the NRA they use the money for? Now that make us say I don't know who side the money they go. Because when we talk about money going into the consolidated fund, who manages the consolidated fund? What really they go inside and what they come on, we don't know. Now, they talk about NRA having the electronic cash register, NRA doing Asikuda. NRA gets a lot of projects that they do. A lot of activity, revenue, generating income, and all of these things. It is quite true. As of the last time when we follow up on what NRA they do, it was under the regime of Soiree, where he say NRA they generate trillions of euros. Soiree don't left, we don't get another person with it. We not even know, they not even come out plain and tell we say, this is what we are generating the income for. Mind you, a lot of people and they where they get paid from the consolidated fund, where even them pay slip, we know they see them. So it's like, they get a discussion with a friend within the US. He said the difference between somebody where they America and where they salon are this. Where you America, you see how you tax the work for you. But where they salon, you hardly know who that they generate, who that they use your money where they generate. And I will go say government gets for be accountable to we. Then if I explain to we, sometimes they will give us vague excuses, vague instances. Let us have detailed discussion on how best we for spend this money. Because if we generate money, then we not see who side the expenditure they go, then it will become very problematic for we all.
All right, okay, let's just open the phone line quickly. 072-500-442. You call us and make your point. 072-500-442. Please, we get to reduce the volume of your TV. And you can also left me a message now with Facebook page. Abubakar, Victor tend for the disagree with most of the things them where you mention. I mean, he's coming from another lens, and you they come up from a lens where now una do the research. I mean, you get any comments in that regard?
Well, I feel say disagree, but when you give details, I not see the disagreement.
You tend to understand.
He disagree from the point of view that you don't know that the benefits from the taxes. But again, I believe say you know supposed to be a few of we supposed to know, because we know say every time when they prepare the budget, and they prepare the budget in line with what come in from we revenue. But when you look at the revenue, you look at the expenditure, they're not there at par. We always get a deficit budget. So the fact that Victor, they say you don't know that the benefits, that means you know they follow the budget process in a salon. The budget process is every year. Then they do, I talk about macro fiscal forecast, where in they determine almost the country they expect for set as a target for the other fiscal year. And with that money they come, and then they plan. You know, so there are two instruments in Parliament can look at. You get what they call the Finance Act, where give the authority to the National Revenue Authority for collect. Supposed to spend money on behalf of the states. So much of what they come in from taxes, they go to development program, which is for finance ministries, departments, and agencies, and of course, what they call physical projects like road construction, and buses, schools, everything where they go in terms of capital-intensive expenditure. Now they go. So we know say the government they get money from taxes and from non-taxes, like you rightly say. You get donors already give direct budgetary support. Say they are a poor country, Lord just gave them this. Or in a country we need help, you understand? You also get projects already coming in, very right, for say transparency, you know, because if you wouldn't do disclosure at the budgets, they know the reports on private investment projects. They can just give bulk figures, some of them, some of the ministries, like Ministry of Education, they can report on PIPs. But most of the other ministries, if they get a project, now so they don't know no more in the Senate, then the citizens they know they know. And any development we implement on behalf of the citizens then at the country, the citizens then deserve the right for no.
Okay. So Abubakar, when it comes to the budget, not to something where person they go sit on them overnight, then do. I mean, where the year can one go round, did you see the last 3 months, the day pada waka waka, the hearing, it take days. And amongst many other reasons to the 2025 Finance Act, where they put more tax on rice, iron rod, and the gas, as a result for generate money. And now your yanda then go up, they add 5% tax. And you report now they say we lost 60%. Usa una say from una term una say na a financial risk. So usa you think say, I mean, the missing link there?
So this 60% now the exemptions, now just one area, the exemptions, we go to the industry sector. The taxes where they talk about, well, fine. Now I made this report as an eye-opener because they give governments the leverage for also go to the drawing board and see what they can do. I'll give you a scenario where I start for say. You know, go there, you pull, you're angry, you know, bucater for you picking in the house, they go do generous giveaway. You go satisfy the other person, will get past you, and then you know, before satisfy your needs. Now that scenario they are begin with. Now, just because there are exemptions they also not they perform, will come with the pressure now to the poor people. And I tell you, say the Finance Act, the way people them at times they not can read, or the awareness not beaucoup like some of we simplify the Finance Act, and we don't see beaucoup law firms, some accounting firms, the way they do simplified version of the Finance Act, where they make sure say you know the revenue provisions where they do. Now for the people they are able to understand, say, then they bring in some of them tax there because they don't give free custom with the hope say the government they invest for the rest cheap. Now if government they forgo that tax rest not cheap, then they decide for take them back now. But when you take that money, they get for reinvest them back to the people them. How this money they go for every purchasing power where the poor man go able to afford for buy one bag grass. Now the other measure where they carry it, they say well, then they set a pricing formula. The pricing formula is just one way out of the window, but it is not the one, it is not the all-out solution. Okay. Because the all-out solution is you have to produce enough food for you able to feed the country. When they see other African countries and now we don't begin to donate food items to other countries in the Pan-Africanism stance. So why make we not able to do this is a big question to the state authorities, because all the time we don't get a government will set agriculture as a priority. Nothing will come out of it. They don't set a priority on education, which is where the human capital development encompasses education, agriculture, food security. Then they are all they decided, but at one point or the other, and they prioritize one thing. Then see how government they push and they go. So it's a matter of the duty bearers prioritizing the interests of the citizen. Right. I agree with them on one point where he say the citizens know the security the tax they do for them. Because when you do the wage bill analysis, you say 70% of the resources they go to people within at the elite class, or so let's say the ruling people who they appoint a political, appointed position. Then they get a huge part of the wages. The way it comes to people in the public services, they get about 30%, which is very small and unfair. But then now we get for set up a system where you go work for we. 30 days some country then waiting the colonial masters left given and they still there. We're gonna want move small, then change the constitution, then get a Ghanaian customized constitution. We for you don't try for differ small, but we in a salon, we still get things the way they now we constitution, we now a legacy from the one that will be colonized with. You understand? Every constitution creates so much powers where they give to the ruling class over the ordinary. But then they tell you say the citizens that then get the power, and then they vote you and then they give you the mandate. But in Sierra Leonean context, the moment you become the leader, the one that will make you leader, they don't become less priority. Because now, if you compare what they pay teacher to what they pay a minister, this is a far cry situation. You understand me? So that tells you that other countries, they don't prioritize courts, cabinet, minister rank, their salary, they give to public workers for boost their confidence and encourage them for stay.
All right. So quickly, let's just talk about this week. Amongst the challenges them we una mention, una talk say monitoring. Now one key issue we cause all of this. And from the financial sector, we put word na those say then lost about 2,000 the revenue. The percentage we then lost earlier this year, that 25%. Now, as a result of faulty electronic cash registration, about 2,000 been gets problem. We not able to account for waiting there for me, because one of the reasons we bring this now for ensure say these business people not actually cheat NRA, and now they are saying that because of 2,000 of them get problem, they make amongst many other reasons they lead to what it leads to.
Well, you see. Why make we get electronic cash register? Now for reduce the human interface. But is this the situation? Certainly no, because people the way they work now most of them are the consultants where people and they go meet backdoor and make arrangements. You understand? For taxes. So if the human interface is still part of the ECR, then there is room for corruption. Now, I make people the way they just talk about the laws, therefore also look at the root causes. What is the causes laws? And how do we mitigate these losses so that they happen going forward? You see, because you also get people the way that they manage the system. So we need to be holistic when we talk about some of the challenges in revenue, because monitoring are one. So look to like the exemption. Do we know as a country how many industry sectors will they benefit from the exemptions?
I think that was what Victor was actually saying.
You don't know, because that aspect is not transparent. Some of them arrangements here, then they can go parliament then 12 o'clock. Until journalists will report, go to parliament at 12 o'clock, they report. The way they sign and sign, you understand me? So some of these things, they are shrouded in secrecy. The public no go know, and the public will hold you accountable when you get sufficient knowledge or information about the subject matter. So now I make quick call for major transparency. If you don't know how many investors will they benefit from this tax waiver, then how do you hold them accountable? And the second thing you talk about fairness, which is very correct. Now, they don't give tax waiver where you don't know. Because they don't get tax waiver, you go pay back for it, enough for pay for. The one that really get the tax waiver, they know, but they know say they're not supposed to get them. But because they get other means where they pass state, they go get the waiver. So now I make them they keep it in secret. Because then forgive waiver after we they don't do assessment, then see how you they contribute to the local economy or to the country development before you qualify for that. And that's you for file. When you file say, I don't contribute in this sector, and on law say, if person invest in expenditure, go more percentage in this area, when I go get exemption, the government for go check. If they check and say yes, you invest more in that area, you qualify and give. Okay. But if they go give person where they perform less, then you go to the local macro, medium, and small enterprises, when then they pay more taxes. But they know they benefit from the exemption. Then this is not fair.
Let only the quick Abubakar. Let's just go to Victor. Hello, Victor. Hello. 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 Oh, the struggle. Forget Victor Yanda. So okay. Hello.
Yes, I get you.
Hello, Victor.
Yes, Victor on the line.
Yes, all right, okay. So let's just, in a nutshell, I mean, on one hand, we get this whole sweet laws for what we don't get from Abubakar about exemption. And on the other hand, we want to know who actually deserve them, because we want to know how much saloon they make and the loss in all of this tax revenue collection. One hand favor exemption, Usai talk say this now for attract investors them, but it's like we lost more as a country from this whole exemption here. So what's your final take in that regard?
My final take like this: we are not going to make any strides if we continue for the fully people that we are making an exemption. We are not making any tax exemption for anybody in the country. As a matter of fact, we spend taxpayer money without we not even get something for talk home about. I'm just reading now on the social media, I don't know if that's true, I just want to verify first, that we get a school tour where they go on for the so-called celebrity who was paid allegedly $52,000, which is about 1.3 billion old loans, where come up from taxpayers' money, where then pay for like can do a school tour on civic education. We're talking about civic education, where I don't even discuss quite frankly that with civic space we need for tightening up from primary school. Almost primary school to know waiting really at their civic duties for Sierra Leone. We they sing national pledge, we they sing national anthem. We don't even know what these words mean to us. And here we are spending 1.3 billion volumes on something where they're saying that for strengthening the civic space. So there is no tax exemption anywhere. People's money are being spent without us getting the dividend where we're supposed to get. So this government need for tightening the OJA and tell me more things about what they do in terms of revenue spending. For generating money is fine. Everybody will have to pay tax. But how do we spend the tax is where the call calls for us all as. And I am we need for tighten your jar and what's in the happen.
Okay, thank you very much, Victor. So, Abubakar, just in a few seconds, what you want for left with?
Well, it's very important for the country think about going to the drawing board, because it's very clear says Sierra Leoneans are not understand them. And public education awareness raising is very important, because and I recall accountability. If you rule the people them and you depend on state resources for do so, then the people then get all the right for understand how you use the money.
Okay.
I just feel shocked with the Victor in conclusion say there is no exemption. You know what talks say all these data will take for analyze. There is no exemption. Yes, what he talks say then they spend the country resources for the wrong reason. I'm not going to dispute them until you say on social media. But certain talk then they will I don't need for respond to them, because the government says they need for talk for themselves. And we in a civil society, they use and data for all them accountable. There's a clear case of exemptions, and this is not just a period of 5 years.
Okay.
So you imagine if you go 5 years back, you will see how much we don't lose in so much giveaways. But then, Lord tightens the loopholes, because this government campaign on the ticket of closing the leakages. And this is not the clear case of revenue leakages that is happening, and this is not resources so the country need bad one for make sure say we develop ourselves as a country.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Abubakar Taiwale, Program and Policy Officer, Budget Advocacy Network. And on the line, we've been get with us Dr. Victor Moininawe, a media analyst and a researcher. We'll be asked the question, how much Salone they gain or lose in terms of revenue collection? But what this mean to the ordinary Sierra Leonean? They will join John Abdullahi and Mbenatu Gwangura as they get the public view.
In any activities or anything where they go in a country, any sort of person they make money, government forget small percentage of waiting that person they give. At least 10% from that very income where that individual they make in that particular country. Now long no go far. We then have a place where they wash bike them. Right now they wash bike and wash cars them around there. How much them people they also they give to government? Like losses to government. We get tailoring shop, we get attire basis, then we get so many sides that we people that they make money. How much then people and they give back to government in a form of tax? Tax not to just the bigger side. Look at the bigger company, how much they give to government. Government have to look at them small side there. How best then go able to recoup small amounts from the inside there where they boost the economy. But if you let all inside there so go, that's not negligence on the government's side, complete carelessness. And the need for raise money for the economy. So that's why they ask all now +1 for tax. So government they lost beaucoup. I don't know much about the bigger side though, but for that small side, that's why I don't call for you so for losses. Now, the issue of this, is it Koiduo links where recently the First Lady get issue with government parastatals for say this or that for pay tax, not pay tax. If you trace back to how then companies then they pay tax, the amount of money where they pay, which is the bigger picture, the bigger side of tax revenue, how much then they pay? Is it equivalent or is it worth to waiting that they extract from this country? You go ask yourself that question then. Then how much actually they pay? Then is there any underhand game? When you ask yourself that question there and seek for answer, you they begin to say, better any kind of tax business or government the losses being monitoring and implementation. That's not the cause of all this downfall of tax business. They know they monitor how the processes that they go, how well then company they also they extract them and raw minerals them from the countries, how then companies they also they operate, how much revenue. Go taking of instance Africell, Orange and QCell, how much they generate per month, how much tax they give back to the government. Then they monitor all inside and they. So you need to get proper accountability of the tax where them for pay. So implementation now, look of the areas that's what they call. How best government don't do say, okay, let me implement some strategies then for let me able to get small money from them petty activities. Even though some man will go meet, I go say, I must have the money, I must have to make it so government don't like to do this. But it go back to the area aspect. Government they provide the basic necessity for letting things they also function well. Government they give 24-hour lights. Government they provide the road for letting places they also let them exist swiftly. So all anything they ask for, they in that tax.
Well, the tax rate, government again, salary again. Government again, salary again. Because at least if the country they give salary again for the CM, but no, it's not like that. But every day extra people, every day tax to go, every tax business they go. Any local business, heavy business, tax panel. That money say they go no. Because money go into we see development in the country. So this money will be per tax. We should say them put on. So say people put on. We should say but not like that we see. But all of it, all is what you go to the country. Blame not blame, not to go to the country. I know it's a mere we see. So what you want? What people are going to go that like that. Then see that's like that too. If you go a tax or peace policy, okay, now give you 100,000 million. Say the good that money there. What you development for that money there? Nothing. No day. But like me now, they look at the official. People they count for the day. They pass 200, 500 they count money for Calef. At the money that this government will make good money. But no, it's nothing. Nothing is that. Even go to Rapia, I got to pay tax. Even go to Rapia, I got to pay tax. You understand? But because of the other food, they're not so straightforward for collecting tax. Like me, like that, I don't pay taxes. I'm not telling you like because I'm not going to harass me for that. I don't forget money pay tax now. Women like this, you got to pay tax in the country. But if me go, I see the parent active for tax, you will make interest over that. No interest you make. If you see me at the tax, pay tax. I'm not pull out. Put me like pay tax, I pay. And that money they for no, that money they will go. But not like that, next nothing. So I'm not no better pay tax in the country. No, them pass me they no pay tax. From 2006 I pay tax. Now, I buy tax and cancel until now I no buy tax. They lose. Everyone. All those smart say heavy load. They lose. Monitor, you know that.
Welfare is the tax. At least any development country will the benefits of the tax. So the country for the humanity to anybody so far now, Salone will benefit nothing for the tax revenue. And then every now and then, we hear na the media, the world outside world and say Salone tax na nothing. Then the one they cow business for we will buy. Then the government will impose every tax on them. That way we go for good buy now. Now we have to pay that tax to indirectly. Well, like then they pay everything to the government. Well, you understand? You say as citizen of Sierra Leone, that tax thing, now they will get for the benefits on. It's good structure in our country, but nothing like that. It's every now and then companies them way they come, they pay every tax. But that tax money, the papa. Me for this country, I don't know how they use that because for me, only I see that I really benefit one benefit we get. So salary tax really benefits, so I wonder. I may see no proper development in certain areas. There we at least we only watch how their development country them with them tax in the country money. We see some certain things that we make them develop. But we now we pay tax. Right? Then certain things they will for the city for develop, then they develop. So that means that loss, we made a benefit. But yes, still we pay tax. Generally, we blame the government. And not point finger at one person because a different sector they make country, different people and they come together will make one. So that the government, if you then impose tax on the companies, they really come, the business people, at least they pay the tax money. Let one man, two man not take a put in our pocket. We get certain sectors that we need for develop. We at least the layman down here and himself at least give benefits of money. So like at least now some of the reason and I don't want to try get to where I hope see if they pay tax and they put on certain areas of it will benefit at least.
Welcome back, and Boku thank you to you for videos with this far. So because of that, 140 the entertainment segment by Slim Peasy.
Yo, what's up, world? I go by the name Slim to the PZ with them vibes. You already know this, now the corner right here on Slick TV, channel 37. Don't know. Yes, so let's get right into it. Well, today I get a sad news, I would say, regarding how much it hits me. You know what I mean? I want to let we look at a young rapper, somebody we done the try, like he done the tawa for make it happen for him, but it seem not for the favor him or the work how he imagined. You know what I mean? I'll not talk about Lux P. A lot of people know the name Lux P. Now, somebody we renowned for battle, he be part of the AYV Cypher. I remember there was this one way Naimi win, and after I been pull a song we call Life After Cypher. Of course, before I go further for talk about Lux P, let we listen to small panda song we call Life After Cypher.
Yeah, this na life after cypher. No get car, no get cash, no get host, no get nothing for offer. This na life after cypher. Cypher king still the suffer. Me braid still no get any butter. This na life after cypher. After cypher, after cypher. This na life after cypher. Check it out. LOX. This na life after cypher. Fiba like baby. Diaper. No one to trust, so I go out for the paper. Though things are tough, I still I thank God for the offer. With this talent that you gave to me, I know go suffer, Lord, I thank you, I appreciate. This just a trial in my life, but I keep the faith. Respect to fans and way they encourage me, say then the wait. We must overcome, who way first can go flop with plates. Let me sensitize all those idiots who don't know the truth. After the competition, this what I'm going through. Mommy say, Lux, you made it, people are proud of you. No time to waste, hit the point by the count of 2. Well recognized, so do what you wanna do. Really, I'm not losing it. I'm laughing as I'm saying it. People are just hypocrites. Hide their hatred underneath. The same people who praise me now, them back laugh waiting on sweet.
So, from the lyrics from the song titled Life After Cypher, you definitely understand where I'm coming from. So, Lux P actually been a part of the Cypher, and based on the lyrics on the song, it just starts like when somebody gets expectations upon doing certain things, and then after doing the thing, you're not able for actually see what they expect. So then they get to Ram and they get for do a song. We see a lot of controversies around the Cypher, Life After Cypher thingy. And of course, after that, because that happened like 4 years back, after that, he bounced back, he began doing things, began put songs them out, but it seemed not really the old water to that much, or not been as cool as how he expected him to be. Yesterday, I've been to use social media overnight, and then I've discovered a post way not from Lux P. Let's read together what it exactly Lux P take to in Facebook page. I'm going through a lot these days, and such is affecting my career. Instead of me always giving my fans fake hope, I have decided to quit the game and move on with life. So that is it. This is the end of Lux P official. Thanks to all my friends and fans who stood by me to this peak. I'm really grateful, and I pray you understand. Well, this is self-explanatory. You able to pick up the sense of waiting outside this brother they come up from. I just want to draw our attention to another rapper again, who been the part of the Cypher. A name na Calibag. A lot of people recognize Calibag as himself been the part of, I think, the Cypher season 1. But rumors don't go around on how Calibag been carrying himself of late, things the way they get himself involved in. I think I see a video of they defend himself where people they make accusations, say he been into kush or whatnot, he they defend himself saying not into that. But since then, it's been over 1 year now, we know it from Calibag, meaning to say he's not actively dropping music and he not engaged in social media platform. It is a concern. We just want to know how Calibag they do. We just extend with concern to the management. I remember the last post I see for Calibag was on the 18th of December 2024. That was a birthday post. And then the last song, when I checked the Calibag in official social media, in YouTube page, the last song where I noticed a song titled Down featuring Paris Gold. That was the last release we'll see from Calibag. It's been 1 year since we hear it from him. We want to know what's up with Calibag. And of course, we get another sad news from Lux P. So it is what it is. Let's talk about another thing on the plate again. Today, we sister way Nak Ada for short, reside in the United States of America, given that we head for the 27th of April, we all know say inside Salon on the 27th of April, na Independence Day. So Queen Ak decides say he go put out a song where, according to Ram, the title of the song na Sweet Salon. Salon really sweet? Salon bitter? Salon sour? But all day inside life. Anyways, the song entitled Na Sweet Salon, produced by Young Lee, another top-notch music producer. Let's go to some few internationals. Anyways, few days back, I talked about a young girl where Wande Shay, a Ghanaian artist, been spotted upon in performance na one school inside Accra, Ghana. This girl in performance be so catch the eyes of Wande Shay, the musician, and he get for pull him up stage, and that become a trending issue. But of course, go on. Wande Shay say because of how trendy this issue don't be, he decide for give back to this young girl. All right, so let's look that video there and come back after the video.
About a week ago, I came here to this school to come and perform. And during my performance, there was this talented, beautiful, shining star dancing and singing passionately to my song, Too Late. The video gained so much attention and it's still trending. So I am here today to say thank you and reward my little star, my shining star, Tracy. Give it up for Tracy, everybody. Okay, so to show my appreciation to you, I have decided that I am going to sponsor your education, which is school fees from class 5 to the university. Here with an undisclosed amount of money to support Tracy.
And the Menyachi, the Wendy, and the Abayama manage. Instead, I'm going to send you soon. Menyachi because not many in that.
So that's not just the video, and it tells you the story and the connection between Wande Shay, a female Ghanaian musician, and the young girl on the very video. Let's move away from that. Let's talk about a rap icon, a sensational legend we've been known past on the 9th of April 2021, DMX. Yes, fans of DMX been taken to social media. A photo of him remembering how DMX used to be as the hardcore rapper. Rest in peace, legend. Your legacy still live on. People are still vibing to your rap lyrics and everything what you've been done. They create, you know, all these years. So that's it for now today. My name is Ibrahim Kagbo. You will call me Slim Pizzy with them vibes. See you link up again. I'm signing out. Blessings.
That's it from Slim Pizzy. One for take a turn. We know the far from your interest to the sports world with Mohamed Collier.
In this edition of the Today Show Sports Update, the Lionwalk Premier League released nominees for the Player of the Month and Coach of the Month. The Player of the Month nominees are as follows. Mohamed S. Mansare of Bible Warriors played 4 games, scored 4 goals and had 1 assist. Abdullahi Kamara of Star Sports Academy played 4 games, scored 4 goals and won 2 man of the match. Abubakar Bari of Diamond Star played 4 games, scored 3 goals and had 1 man of the match. Dauda Bangwa of Eastern Lions played 3 games and had 3 clean sheets. Alhaji Sisa of Banta Football Club played 3 games, had 3 clean sheets and won 1 man of the match. The nominees for Coach of the Month are Francis Zapakuma of Bible Warriors, who played 4 games and won all 4. Shaku Ibrahim Kama of Star Sports played 4 games, 1-2, drew 1 and lost 1. John Kisa of Bo Rangers played 4 games, 1-2 and lost 2. Mohamed Lami Kama of Eastern Lions played 3-1-1 and drew 2. Alhaji Foro of Port Authority played 4-1-2 and lost 2. Now for our international sports updates in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals results of yesterday matches. A brace from Robert Lewandowski helped Barcelona cruise to an emphatic 4-0 win over former club Borussia Dortmund in a one-sided UEFA Champions League quarterfinals first leg tie at Stade Olympique Louis Company Stadium, extending their unbeaten run in all competition in 23 games, winning 19 and have only drawn 4. PSG will take 2 goals advantage into the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals second leg after beating Aston Villa 3-1 in a dominant performance at the Parc des Princes, ending the Villa's 7-match winning streak. For the first time in over 17 years, Lyon and Manchester United will lock arms on the Europa stage, but this time in the UEFA Europa League quarterfinals this evening. With their domestic titles, hopes all but extinguished, Rangers focus almost solely rest on the UEFA Europa League as they seek to reach the finals for the first time since losing in the 2021-2022 finals. They will welcome Athletic Bilbao of Spain. Tottenham Hotspur vs Eintracht Frankfurt. Lazio goes away to Bodo Glimt of Norway. In the Conference League quarterfinals today, Liga Warsaw welcome Chelsea from England, Betis vs Jagiellona, Celje vs Fiorentina, Jogaden vs SK Rapid VM. This is all we have for you in this edition of the Today Show Sports Update. I'm Mohamed Kolia.
From sports, one for join Sia Deneja Tumoy, following give you the updates of the things that will go around the tech news.
Welcome to your technology news update. I am Deneja Sia Tumoy. Microsoft has just put out a whole bunch of fixes for problems in their software. They fixed a massive 126 flaws, which are basically like little holes that bad guys could use to cause trouble. Out of those 126 problems, 11 are really serious. They call them critical. 112 are pretty important and 2 are not that bad. One of the really serious problems, Microsoft said, has actually been used by bad guys to attack people already. Some of these problems could let someone take control of your computer, steal your information, or even crash your system. On top of these 126 fixes, Microsoft also fixed 22 problems in their Edge web browser. So, they've been really busy trying to make their software safer. That's all on your technology news update. I am Deneja Sia Tumoy. Thank you for watching.
Now that's all we get inside the tech news. Up next, one for can know the law. We get Charlie Israel Williams, where they can tell you about the Criminal Procedure Act. Of course, we know they currently and they are around right now. So the legal professions, the people that come together in the person of Charlie Israel Williams, they can tell we what's in the criminal procedure there about the act itself, what's in there about when Act number 32 of 1965. Let's get that.
We want to look at the situation where we're in right now. We get the Criminal Procedure Act 2004, and we get the Criminal Procedure Act number 32 of 1965. You remember say there was a time we present the Criminal Procedure Act 2004 with the anticipation, say, by now, we've been supposed for the use the new Criminal Procedure Act, well, we can call them CPA for short. So this is April 2025, the new Criminal Procedure Act 2004 still not come into use it. However, that act has been enacted and it has been assented So President don't give assent to them. However, law for make it take effect to get what we call commencement date. The truth na that the Criminal Procedure Act 2004 not get commencement date yet. So in essence, they in operation right now. So we still they use the Criminal Procedure Act 1965. So what we want for talk about today, now that the old CPA, we are the current CPA, the 1965 Criminal Procedure Act, now we still they use. And for all purposes and intent, it still they serve the criminal justice system. We as practitioners, we concerned because we're not able to understand up till now why the new CPA still not there into effect. We're not able to understand the reason. We actually don't know what happened. The Law Officers Department been done to make serious effort for let this act come into operation. However, the act still just don't go through enactment and the president don't assent. So we are caught in between right now as to waiting they happen. I remember there was a time when the JUO system, because that one had been the most talked about provision in the new CPA, the jury system. Well, some people call it the abolition of the jury system. Anyway, fast forward, we've been getting a situation where it been seem like, say, the jurors them, where the judiciary being get enlisted for trial cases, especially those ones where we all know, felonious matters like murder, robbery with aggravation, treason. I mean, the offenses then they where normally now judge and jury they try them. So as I say, fast forward, we feel say by now we for the look at trial when a judge they sit alone. But as it is, in as much as the new CPA now they in operation, we still they get difficulties with situations where matters then they will for be tried by judge and jury. They see, the option of judge alone. We as practitioners, we concerned that we get this kind of situation at hand. The best way for me to happen and for let the new CPA come into effect, because it's law already, just that it not get commencement date. And as a nation we strive in democracy and good governance, we believe say we not for be faced with a situation like that. I mean, it send mixed signals. Is it that we not been done ready yet? We've been there in haste for get this enactment done. Now that it is done, we cannot, put it into force. So the good things about the new CPA, now I want to talk about today, I just want to emphasize, and then so that we know exactly what we they miss, where the new CPA still not they in force. Let's talk about detention. Detention by the police, arrest and detention. You know, say the current CPA, the 1965 CPA say, for matters them where police they investigate when into felony, police get 2 days for hold somebody in custody whilst in the investigator. And enough for past 2 days. If then see case and CCS, the case meets the threshold for let them charge the matter to court, then they go charge the matter to court. And if the investigation ever take long, then the police can put the suspect on bail, so that at least in liberty no go there at stake whilst they continue with the investigation. The new CPA, they suggest the same thing in terms of how long police will hold you in detention whilst in investigating matter. For serious matters, what they call felony, the police can hold you for a maximum of 10 days. If up to 10 days, they're not able to charge the matter to court or conclude the investigation, then for put you on bail. However, the new CPA, they say the police can go to court, apply to a judge, for let the judge give them an extension for keep the suspect in custody whilst they still investigate the case. So now we with the old one, we say 2 days for misdemeanor and 10 days for serious offenses. Now we get situations where we would have to fight with the police literally for make them put people on bail. And sometimes the police themselves get constrained because some matters then because of the nature, they need more time for investigator. And some people, if you left them, you not go see them again. Well, it all depends also on the bail conditions where you put in place. So we just hope, say, where this new CPA still not come into force yet, the right of citizens go be protected and go be maintained. But as I say, as practitioners, we're very concerned that up till now, the new CPA is still hanging in the balance. So that is it for arrest and detention. The new CPA being actually the camp for provide a situation where if them for continue for keeping custody, the court need for intervene. So for we didn't get the confidence, they say, once it goes before a judge for argue, then the police go need for give proper justification why them for keep somebody in a custody more than 10 days. But now that that is hanging in the balance, we are very much concerned.
From the big one, they will understand a lot better, when they ask. The new CPA don't come, but we still use the old CPA, which they gone. So one for use this for go directly to the flight schedule. Aska Airlines flight KP023 will depart from Banjul, stopping in Freetown at 8:05 a.m. Accra and finally arriving in Lomé at 8:45 a.m. At 1 o'clock p.m., Aska Airlines flight KP042 will take off from Lomé, stopping in Freetown at 3:55 p.m. and arriving in Banjul at 4:35 p.m. Also at 1 o'clock p.m., Aska Airlines flight KP040 will depart from Accra and head to Freetown. At 1:30 p.m., Brussels Airlines flight SN241 will take off from Freetown, make a stop in Monrovia, and land in Brussels at 7:55 p.m. At 2:30 p.m., Kenya Airways flight KQ510/11 will depart from Nairobi, stop in Accra and 5:30 p.m. and arrive in Freetown at 6:30 p.m. This flight will then head back to Accra and return to Nairobi. At 4:00 p.m., Air Senegal flight HC213/4 will leave Dakar, arrive in Banjul at 6:55 p.m. and continue to Freetown at 7:50 p.m. Finally, at 8:00 p.m., Air Peace flight P47760/1 will depart from Freetown to Lagos, arriving at 11:00 p.m. with a final arrival at 11:40 p.m. Now, this is all we get for now for the flight schedule today, and we will ask you for a stay tuned for to get more information. With this, I want to reintroduce Rabia Tomansari for the headlines.
It's a pleasure being here again, Mohamed Bake. I mean, let's dive directly into it. Just, we had a discussion where we anger boss yes, but we not put here in there. Aside from the Minister of Mines, the kind of money where then they put by the mining sector in the country and waiting with the get not seem for match. They let them meet together now one place, and it will give you a own side of the story. And we get for take also from Ibrahim Sui Kamara, we're in a Salon Chamber of Mines Society talk say we can do more as a country for benefits from the mineral wealth. So we want to know what you think so we need for do and for benefits more from the mineral wealth. Let's have it quickly.
The Sierra Leone Chamber of Mines originally established in 1965, but as a result of the war, as we all know, everything collapsed, so that was the end of it at that time. What we get now, what we will call the second iteration of the chamber. In 2014, we be revitalize them, but then just after that, we get COVID again, so we go back in slumber. But on the 11th, as part of this mining week, we, the ministry, they organized, we relaunched the chamber again for a second time in the last few years. Basically, the Chamber of Mines, as every other interest group, established for a lookout for members there. But we see ourselves beyond just an interest group. We see ourselves as partners in development because we own conception of the kind of relationship we'll get with government. We think it's, say what you may, it's a private-public partnership. I think we need to increase the size of the cake. If you get a cake this size, and then the number of people who want to eat from this cake, they can only get so much. But if the cake in size increase, then waiting then they get the increase. The ministers put them nicely. Mining companies come here for can invest. I would tell you now, Maya Mining, for example, don't invest about $200 million. The revenue we don't generate to date is about $40 million. You do the math. But then, at this point, as we talk, we are still looking to still go into commercial, full commercial production. So we are not even still there yet. Imagine somebody don't put $200 million, into a project, and they still not get it to who's around for get to. That is the reality of mining. The numbers are big. Sometimes we then call numbers, and then you will be surprised. But those are the numbers within the mining sector. What we need is to attract even more investors. I'm speaking now as a Sierra Leonean. For let we able to get more from these mining sectors, we need more investors, credible investors, the big players. In order to really talk, the only years they will be get the beers in the early days. Since then to date, we not get sales. Why? Because we resources small. When I look at what we get for waiting then they do, it's Mickey Mouse. So they want, so they want big resources for let them can invest. That's what they do. We nearly bring Algozanaya. Unfortunately, we shook hands. It was a done deal, and then next day, the Russian troops enter Ukraine. And since then, we know it happened, Algoza gets sanctioned, they can no longer do business, and so that deal fell through. So the reality is if we can have more credible investors in the country, people with the financial muscles for let them help to unlock the value we get. We talk about all these minerals all the time, but me, you don't even know the full extent of what we get. So we go get bauxite, we go get rutile, we go get diamond, but what's the extent? So you need to invest a lot of money for do a lot of drilling, a lot of reconnaissance exploration work for let we get that data. We don't have that. So we need all of that for let we able to know for let people in cap. Lastly, but most importantly, I think something we all can do now for market salon. You know, sometimes in the small corner we tweet, we write these things, we write articles, then we get these headlines. We think these are, you know, things that we're not getting, but they have impact. When somebody want kaya, they go online, he check, he looks at these headlines, he look at what happen on social media, then they make their decision. I know the president has talked a lot about how much effort government has made, especially the president traveling around for, you know, market the country and all of that. But I think even we can do so. And I always challenge the company investors and say, the biggest form of recommendation we get now from one investor to the other, in these casual conversations, all they get is, hey, man, what's going to happen at Salone? I mean, one day one can where's he gone? If it says, man, who now we no one was on the deal, but that place is not a better place. That's it. He's not going to come. I don't care how much PR would do. I don't care what's in, you know, how much trips, conversations the minister gets with anybody. He's not going to come because he trusts where they come up from a colleague. And by the same token, if he says, man, you know, it's a bit challenging, but I think there's something there, then we'll definitely on for come. And things that we write, comments that we'll make, we think these are innocuous, they're not going to be picked up by anybody. People comb the web before they make a decision. And so it no matter what me go now and try for say and defend and all of that, but we see this, we see that, we see this sort of stuff. It's difficult for us to go in there. So it's a problem. But you and I can play a part in complementing the office of government for markets in the country. Because at the end of the day, if we make it look good, make it nice to people, they will not come. It's like you get your business. If you market and well, people will buy. If you don't market and well, I don't care how good it is, people will not go come there. So in a nutshell, we need money, we need more investors, we need access to capital, but we also need for make Salone look good, because then when they go for welfare money, it's easy.
That was Ibrahim Sir Kamara from Salone Chamber of Mines. I mean, the discussion about mining, it's like, it come up every now and then, you know, Tapia. So even in the discussion we get earlier today, we talk about outside how much then they make and how much we they get as a country. And the minister SSF talk and say, then they contribute $1.12 billion, but what's in they get as government now around $60 million. So the money in names FBN shows the large gap where lies between all of it. But the conversation done here, so more of them go come and as they come with the bring them to now. Away from that, we get a very this afternoon, I would say hot cake.
Hot one,
yes, I mean this is a today show. I see they come on also one for the drop and
exactly.
Talking about the tourist board, earlier this week, we get one that then give a list firstly of certain beach bars and beach, you know, where they're around the area, where they say, then they violate one or two laws then, and it's like, so we'll go for take action from them. And that, just now, few minutes back, we get this one here, so outside and say, they get certain people then, where they don't list that place they to, then they walk in accordance to the agreement where them been don't get. I mean, they say if they go to this place as an institution or as a government, you want for go to this place. Now, XYZ you want for do. You understand? Then go out talk with them. You always say you also you want to fully comfortable. You go for make and that way. So if governments don't listen and go to this place here, so then una no make and then that's saying they're not ready for take a stance in this regard.
And governments behave to them as Kumbra. We are in give them about 3 years. You understand? They follow no more. They pack fine. They do it. They for doing on. And governments they say some man even don't go beyond these 3 years, don't take 6 years. Why some man don't even take 20 years?
20 years. They don't even provide no documents for sure. Okay, Papa government, you don't give it this year, babe. But we don't ready now for do so and so. But for 20 years, you all put in place. And Fonty was here sometime last year. I talk and say all land around the vicinity. Now government get them. So if governments don't say maybe can learn 2 years for us, make and this kind of a way, then at the end of the day, you know, do one, you don't like you say, you don't fit here, you that's one. And two, we are the same people where they cry say we give so much privileges to these international companies where they come for open. Let's go around the beach side. We see these other hotels. I mean, you get them when you see the building firstly, they are so attracted that it draw more people than for come. But you go even along the same beach side, you go see that I mean by fire butu so. And most of these people, they now listen. Imagine they don't list you for a place for 20 years or so. How much you even they pay for
Just
day
imagine.
compared to now? And the ministry is saying here, we are not making enough money.
Yeah.
And just like this, they get for pay tax. Now, here we talk about how much we don't lose for tax business in the country.
All the same name
and
of
here
waiting,
we are.
take it easy with people and take it easy with people. Just between me and you, Rabi, if somebody get for pay a huge sum of money, let the person see, let you see the attempt to say the person will make efforts. You understand it? But just like that, you ain't quiet, no, nothing like that.
But again, Bake, in as much as we appreciate this coming from the tourist board, because me not like say that they live there for free.
Yeah.
Then at the other hand, we they blame the government or the institution, say they are not doing their work. But one critical question where people then go ask is that now Tonangi, in sense, we not get lantern when another way for generate money. At the end of the day, some of these bars, because earlier this week, they tell say some of the one that are defaulters, then go take stance against the way they clean the beach and they pay money. And now all of the sudden, we can see say they don't pull this one here, so they say you will all list the place for many years. But this is the same ministry where go grab again in no turn, again another person chance to go build at this place again and make money. So I think so we get for work on how we they monitor one or two things that we they do as a nation.
Sure, and interestingly, governments no attach or mention particularly any developers where they try for, but generally, you understand. So if they say government continuously they try for solicit the agreements and compliance, you understand it to them. But up till now, just imagine. Until this press release they come out.
And this thing is say, in as much as you get your right, you also get your responsibilities.
Exactly.
On one hand, we are the ones crying, say XYZ not they go right.
Sure.
But we again not they do the thing that way for make things go the right way. So in as much as this is waiting and don't say those when are defaulters, may then come on board and ensure say then do the right thing and
government ready for take the property, Rabi.
Yes.
Just imagine if they see what will happen at the Takugama area, the reclamation, they try for take the land space and everything.
Yes, so away from that, they will get us rain season, don't they come when March now, by Tennessee, May rain don't be come. Bike riders and people that we tap na Hilltop community old school doors concern over one bridge where don't they serve as important routes for community people them make them call on authorities we concern for quick response before the rain come. But quickly, John Abdullah Bidede and he send this for we will get time then we can talk about them.
Hilltop community, back of old school, Waska. From last year, November, we get a small wall of the managed now, but due to, I think we don't damage, so the council of the total fit say, it is at a riskful point. So then we end up broken, we'll be able to get a quick response, which people are going to use. At the end of the day, once we the bike man with some few community stakeholders, now they're able to put this wire where people and they manage the main time. As you can see no more now. At any time the rain drop, this now goes on bridge again. It goes to a water side. To get a lot of people them, we get a lot of dignitaries them. Where we can go left now them. Some man I had in the park them, their vehicle them, they're not able to cross. Because they don't get direct access for go park now them compound them. Unless them park here and take bike now we can cross with them. The only way when vehicle go able to use their rights now. Unless you use hill court by the Waska. Now the only way that the vehicle will be used. For bike now, ain't going to get access. Keke not going to get access here. This opportunity I don't give me, really for can see this environment and this community, we only engage. Now in season this. We they call on the honorable, the councillor, they are let work as one. Whosoever able to see this video as well, let them help we. Let we able to make this bridge here so at least let this community be a better home for other people them. Because immediately rain begin can just know this why it broke.
From the sun, all them broke this bridge so the ending of November, say up to now, we not see it, no movement for the bridge. So we don't know what they own decision, we don't know what they own plan for this bridge also. So we say, let me say now people are staying also a lot. Most of the majority of the people they over under, we go staying a lot. Then outside we think about the rainy season. Now rainy season here for Kansas now so. Yeah, water can start flop now so. And we get for members say them borders, all the season get for can, them borders all them get for go. Rain get for can go, all them borders. So if them borders get for can go this now. With the thing now also get for the pass now. They outside that with the bike man now because they don't ban one at all. So we not for go again at all now. So most of majority of we not go down so again. Now also the work, now also the get we all living. So you see, so most of we in this bikers and all the first for we get we own school fee, we own and so much to get for it. Not true from them vehicle also. So no any other side the work. Personal also no more. So they ask for the government, would ask for help to the government. Let them help how then they can make this bridge also for we. For let would help for go about to businesses then. Councillor Dabo, they say I am being be ahead for let them broke this bridge. I mean count bulldozer then for let them broke the bridge. So you see, so from the center they can broke this bridge. So the man will not see again. We don't know where about that man again. We need the help from the big man then and the community or from the people then at the country until go over to the president of Sierra Leone for let them help you. How then the able can make and this bridge also too.
This bridge broke along within December 10. Before this bridge they broke, councillor been done call on meeting for construct the bridge because it been done there in a funny way where accident they happy and the bridge been done undermined. Councillor call on meeting say he want make the bridge. So later on they come with Caterpillar. They don't already prepare with Caterpillar, then broke the bridge. Then one start the work. Honorable Benji come, then stop Dabo, the work not for continue. But from then, we know they get no updates about the bridge. From where Dabo served, then tell and say let he pull in hand on the bridge work. The bridge not continue again. People in the train, if you watch this boat bridge, rain season, definitely this bridge get for go. And who are they around? Who say we serve they get with Lily and nothing? Definitely don't ambog with because the Caterpillar will come, they caught me by family. And what are people and they right now way, then they found it difficult, even the Waska. You man they side in the fence, and don't accommodate, don't can right now. Every day and how are the place tight. But councillor, we don't ask, I said, and don't stop them, the bridge work. And the honorable now, we not see no turn up from them, we don't stop them. Because Dabo being say, according to Dabo, say city council belong something like 48 million. And some materials the way it be done put in place before it broke the bridge. But we then can't stop and now we not get no aid and tail about the bridge up to now. And are insisting the council. And this now a very key side where all the hilltop community they pass. If you watch the boat, the people that way they get accident through this boat a plenty. But from them we not see no turn up. And we serve the appeal to government there. Make you pay attention to this place. Begin and they are when they cross, when they go school. Other people and they come out different side where they come. They don't be now road access, no day, Motukane they go, and people in the train. Even the bike man themselves, if you watch every day and hour bike they get accident with people and here with the appeal to government, let them pay attention to this side within a few possible time.
You know, the issue about Sierra Leone is every day when we wake up, we have something to talk about. I mean, sadly, firstly, we hope this could reach the right authorities, them. And sadly, the whole part of this that we not seem to see infrastructure as part of the big 5 game changers in this regime. However, we tend for prioritize education and agriculture and the likes, but we hope say attract the one way for attract. Sure. Let's dive now into the papers. This from Freetown Daily newspaper. We get Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation introduces $60 million water project, Africa, 50 megawatt energy projects for Konoor, and so much more. But when you look at the water side, I mean, okay, that's another aspect we feel
very
like
important, very
even it's dry season right now, and most communities don't they cry for water. I saw a report earlier this morning. It was like people in Sefna Long Legend Road, they cry for water, and sadly you go see them put them 5 gallon the inside gutter.
Yes,
they get water. I mean, with the spanning of all them sick here where they come.
I mean, interestingly, or more or less, if you feel disappointed, that more of that one they would expect, say, or they think, say, not only in the eastern part of Freetown that they happen. When you go to Babadori area and along and they understand, they see so many pipes and don't unroot them, you understand, but they don't cut pipe, all in the name of all people then get water. And mind you, to be party and an eastern, it will surprise you, or I don't know if it will surprise you, but for let you see people from that water they drink.
So, well, we're glad projects like this are coming on, but we also see, Salwako Self receive $3.4 billion. So if you add them to this, it's about $9 to $10 million for actually make sure we get access to water in the country.
And we really need them.
Yes,
really need
they say water in our life.
Definitely. Because when you go to see people they go down, they gutters them, you understand, they pipe them and everything. And up next for the Concon Times newspaper, we see ACC indicts WAEC chief examiner for malpractice, other offences. Sierra Leone's High Commissioner designates to Kenya arrives in Nairobi. We get and many more others. So like we discussed this yesterday, right?
Yes.
You see this encounter with so many concerns, you understand it? Because of late we see picking them, pupils them, no sooner they say WAEC exams they come up, wait till they run for chase, for they get Android phone, for they charge their phone and everything. You just one go have to ask how the phone gets connection to the exams.
To examination. And sadly, another claims, so the allegations they get from some of them picking their son that today mama give me 50 million, why they go for go see to us. So the whole mixed bag all together, either funds, either monies, but let's just, I guess, just a quick summary of what happened where ACC then put out yesterday when I want to read out to the public for better understanding. We say then charged two people actually, Issa Kamara Wena, chief examiner, and Ibrahim Kamara Wena, assistant examiner for corruption charges. Issa gets 6 charges and Ibrahim gets 5 charges. What in they say then do? They say they help one for the Fasulu Kuman Saye inside the June 2024 was exam, we then describe as unfair advantage. Usai Issa Kamara we get 5 charges. We now also official from the WAEC, when the chief examiner. What it do? It takes script and give to this nephew when for day and then go mark some kind of UK way. So in some way, that they engage them for one person helping company. Then inside the intake go get your own person. So then go sit to the exam and then count an hour later they can put on the other script. Yes, another allegations what they get about WAEC now. They say they get what they call special room. Special room, I just something can come up. So that special room date means you will get more money.
Yes.
Now you they go inside there.
Yes.
So this again don't make the credibility for the WAS exam don't get a very big question. Exam. Mind you, this now West Africa, not just Salone, also like NPSC or Obeke.
And most interestingly, Gabi, they see now the chief examiner.
Yes.
It surround them, involved in such.
Just imagine. The bigger alleged.
Exactly. If not be them small the way they done, you understand, then vigilators them, people they go for ignore. But this, you go imagine now waiting don't happen. We don't come to the public.
So like we say, we appreciate the ACC for bringing out things like this, because anytime when you will get a conversation with WAEC or the ministry, we get something we will reference to when I listen to it, because each time when you bring up this conversation, then we'll tell you, say, this is not just mere allegation, you know, they happen actually.
We want to really commend ACC, because of late we see back what happened at SLFA, you understand? And now this they go on, I believe, see, they still they underground, they try for search and more, for them to get more of what's in the ground as in corruption acts.
All right, time is not in our favor. That's all I can bring to us today. Okay.
Thank you very much, Rabiatu Mansari. We want for you this opportunity for tell thank you to all the one them within the support for this share be a successful one today, especially the one them at the control room, and one for tell thank you as well to the one they we get these different segments them we then put together for them bring and come to you. Mina Mohammed Bake Kamara.
And I am Rabiatu Mansari.